free world.
Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking and stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking and stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster, snuff the money mover. Snuff the hater, snuff the player, snuff your hairline, tape up and shape up. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter.
Hail to the culture of Washington Redskins podcast, Bryce and Rome. Back at you again in preparation for our Redskins game versus the Carolina Panthers. Rome, what up, baby?
What's up, man? What's up?
Hey, man, I can't call it, man. We got a big game coming up this week, maybe a little bigger than it needs to be considering how bad the Saints' loss was. So let's jump right into it, man. Let's jump right into it. First question, this is for you, Rome. How do we stop Superman, that is Cam Newton?
Man, I don't know if we can stop Superman, that is Cam Newton. The Redskins have had trouble doing that in the past. He's undefeated against Washington, in case you haven't already heard that news. He's got 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. FedEx Field alone, he's thrown for over 500 yards. He's ran a touchdown, thrown 4. So, even the home field advantage doesn't really exist against Cam Newton. So, I don't know that we can stop Cam Newton. I think it's a situation where you have to contain him. If we can keep it competitive, the offense can score some points, maybe keep them off the field, I think that's how we'll stay up with the Panthers. What do you think, though, man? Do you think it's a way to stop Cam?
Yeah. I definitely think it's a way to stop him, but I do think it's going to be tough. I think this game is a better matchup for us than the high-powered Saints offense, only because the Carolina Panthers, they're trying to beat you up. They're trying to run up the gut, and they're trying to make you submit. And in my opinion, we've got a couple big guys in the middle that are not about that submitting life. Our big guys in the middle are going to stand strong, and they're going to make sure that we've got a fighting chance no matter who we're going up against, especially if their only game plan is to try to run it down our throats right up the middle. So I do like our chances because of that. But even with that said, we've got a tough task at hand, and Cam Newton's undefeated against us, and he always seems to do something amazing against the Redskins. So let's hope that we're able to come out and be the team that we've been in 2 games this season, and not the team that we've been in the other 2.
Yeah, we definitely got to hope for the best in that case. Another bit of Cam Newton news, though, he is throwing for a higher percentage than he has in his career under the new coach, North Turner. So they do typically like to run it up the gut, but I wouldn't be surprised if they spread it out just based on how the Colts and the Saints played us and had a little bit of success. But we will see. I do think it is a better matchup than the Saints offense, though. So I do expect a much more competitive game. But after that Saints loss and seeing the Eagles win last night, that knocked the Redskins out of first, I believe, by like a half a game. So going into this Panthers game, man, would you say this is a must-win?
That's a good question. Technically, it's so early in the season that I guess you can't call it a must-win, but we would drop an entire game below 500. We would be sitting at 2-3, and with the Eagles win, it looks like they may have caught a little bit of steam. So we would definitely risk the division getting away from us. I don't want to call it a must-win just because of how early it is in the season, but from a team morale standpoint and the team proving to themselves that last week is behind them, perhaps it is a must-win. What do you think?
I would tend to agree with you. I wouldn't say it's exactly a must-win. We do have 2 division games coming up right after, and I really think that's where it's going to come down to for the Redskins and for Jay Gruden. For Jay Gruden just to even keep his job, really, I think we're going to have to win in the division. Last year we were 1-5 in the division. So a loss to the Panthers this Sunday would hurt, but like you say, it's so early in the season, it wouldn't kill the season. It would put us below 500, but it would be ground that we could definitely make up this early. But I wouldn't say that this week is a must-win, but the 2 weeks following it, if we take a loss here, that would make the next couple games, because they're division games, which are already important, that would definitely make those a must-win.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I do agree with you on that. I think that if a loss here turns our season into every week is a must-win if we lose here. And I mean, thinking about how big this game is for us, and then considering that we've got some guys who we can't be too sure of with their injuries, it worries me a little bit. Rome, what do you got for us on the injury front?
Yeah, so Gruden just had a little press conference about 30 minutes, an hour ago, and released the final injury report. So Sean Laval is doubtful. He's probably likely not to play. He didn't practice today or yesterday, I believe. Jamison Crowder, Adrian Peterson, Chris Thompson, and Josh Doxson are all game-time decisions. I would say Adrian Peterson is probably likely going to play. I think Chris Thompson is going to be all right. And Josh Doxson, after another week, will probably play. I am a little bit concerned about Crowder, though. Gruden did mention that he needs to see him run a little bit before game time. And I think if Crowder was to be down, that would hurt. That would hurt definitely, especially in a game like this. What do you think, though, man? Of all those guys I just named, who do you think we need the most to be out there this Sunday?
Well, I think no question it's definitely Adrian Peterson. I mean, without AP, Alex Smith he's not the same quarterback without a running game. So if I had to choose one, I'd definitely pick AP. It definitely worries me that Crowder and Richardson are both questionable. Richardson had a huge catch for us against the Saints. He's probably the only guy that really flashed. Well, there's a couple others. But Richardson showed what he could do, in my opinion. So I definitely want to have him out there. Crowder hasn't impressed too much this season, but we all know what Crowder can do in open space. And considering how well the Atlanta Falcons spread out the Carolina Panthers defense in Week 1, I might have to lean towards Crowder just because, to me, outside of Reed, he's our best guy in space.
Yeah, I like exactly how you put that because I was thinking the same thing. Crowder could have a very big game against the Panthers. Their secondary they have a great defense, but their secondary isn't necessarily the greatest. I think if you spread them out and get Crowder in space, he could definitely eat. So hopefully he's good come game time. And the other injury I was a little concerned about, but not too concerned about. Troy Apke is still out with a hamstring. I mean, that's not the biggest deal, but he has missed a couple games now, and his development is going to matter because the Redskins are a little bit thin at safety, and you would like to see him get at least some practice time. He hasn't really been practicing. So.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Down the line, we're going to need Troy Apke one day. So if he could get it back, that would definitely help our secondary. It would just be good for him to get continued learning experience. So let's hope for the best from Troy. It's tough that he's been out that long now, going on what is it, the third week now?
Yeah, I believe I think it's the third. Yeah, if you count the bye week, it's maybe even 4 weeks.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him get on the field. He was definitely a strong player on special teams as he was developing.
Yeah, he can make a big impact on special teams with that speed. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the NFC East, man, and let's talk about this Giants loss last night, man. What in the world was that about?
Yeah, that was a game right there. That was at least the first quarter actually had me thinking it was going to be a pretty good game, and then the Eagles kind of took control. Well, last week in my NFC East power rankings, I noted that Ezekiel Elliott is the best player in the NFC East, but after Saquon Barkley's performance, even in a loss, he might have just took that crown from Zeke, honestly.
Yeah, Saquon was the only thing impressive about the Giants. And I want to say this, like as good as Saquon is, as impressive as he was last night, that pick is looking more and more like the wrong pick as each week goes by, man. They, as good as Saquon is, they definitely needed a quarterback. Like Eli is the problem. Eli is why they didn't I mean, the O-line definitely needs to get addressed too. But Eli just looks terrible. He looks like he should have hung it up years ago.
Yeah, man, Eli was bad. I think I mentioned that on the pod a couple of weeks ago, man, how, they could risk really wasting the prime years of both Saquon Barkley and Odell. And like you just said, it's looking like it was the wrong pick. Eli Manning, outside of just looking shell-shocked and making the infamous Eli face, he just seems like he's looking for someone else to step up. Every time I see him, it's looking like I've never seen Eli point the finger. Through everything he's been through, he's never been the point the finger type of guy. But even last night, you could see it when the mistakes were happening. He was pointing at his own lineman. He was pointing at, I remember one instance, he pointed at Wayne Gallman when he ran the wrong route. And it's like, wow, Eli knows something's not right. And I think, when you know something's not right within, the first thing you do is start to point fingers outside of you. And that's what I see Eli doing. I think Eli's done. And I honestly think we may see Kyle Lauletta pretty soon, man, the product out of Richmond.
Yeah, man, I would have to agree with you right there. I was thinking that while I was watching the game. It's only been so much longer that the Giants can put up with this. I mean, they're 1-5, and you just got to change something up so the offense can go. But yeah, the Giants just look terrible. But at the same time, Philly looked pretty good last night, man. Alshon Jeffrey was looking nice. Carson Wentz and him getting their little rhythm going, and they did it without a run game. Like as well as they performed last night, there's still the whole rumor of them getting Le'Veon Bell or LaShawn McCoy in there, man. So what you thinking about the Eagles?
Well, I think the Eagles look good. They definitely look the best they've probably looked this season. But I would temper the expectations going forward only because you got to look at the competition. The Giants have been awful this entire year, and you would hope that any team going against the Giants looks good. If your team looks bad against the Giants, that's an indictment on your team. So it's hard for me to give the Eagles too much props for that win, but I definitely think that they came out and looked strong. A lot of people have been pointing to Ajayi as a big problem, his loss being a big problem. But I see it a little differently. I see the Eagles as a team that's catapulted their Super Bowl run without Jay Ajayi. In my opinion, they were already headed to the Super Bowl before they made that trade right at the trade deadline. And now with him out, I think they'll be able to adjust. Corey Clement was the big star of the Super Bowl. And, he for all the fantasy owners, you can see him in a real RB1 scenario. Sorry if you picked up Wendell Smallwood. But Corey Clement looks like he's the guy going forward if they don't end up making a trade.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, man. I could definitely see that. So it sounded like it's going to be hard to knock the Eagles out of that number one spot in the power rankings come next week. But what do you think, man? If the Dallas Cowboys can get a dub over the Jacksonville Jaguars, that would go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely probably jump them to the second spot depending on how the Skins look. And I do think that's a favorable matchup for the Cowboys. That you've got two teams that are gritty teams when they're playing for their identity, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll see who has more grit that day. If the Jaguars come out and stop Zeke, though, we can call it night-night for the Cowboys.
Is that one in Jacksonville? I'm not too sure. If that's in Jacksonville, then Dallas is going to have a rough going. But, yeah, man, like you said, if they stop Zeke, I don't know what that man Dak's going to do.
Yeah, I think this one is in Jacksonville, too. So it's going to be a tough one for the Cowboys for sure. And if they come on top, we got to give them a little more. We got to put some respect on their name in the rankings if they come out on top in this one.
Big if on that one, though. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the next segment. That's going to be the fill in the blanks. So I got some good ones for you, and I'm definitely interested in to hear what you're going to say on these. So I'm going to go ahead and kick you right on off, man. So, real quick, for the viewers that don't know the fill in the blank game, I'm going to just throw Bryce a question, and I'll say, the so-and-so needs to do blank to do whatever. So I'm going to just kick off the first question, and you guys will understand right away. So, Bryce, Jay Gruden needs to win blank amount of games to keep his job this season.
Jay Gruden needs to make the playoffs to keep his job this year. I know that's not the exact answer, but I'm going to say 9 games. So I think 9 and 7 makes the playoffs in NFC East.
Okay. I could feel that. I would definitely agree with you with that. I wouldn't put a number on it either. I would say a playoff appearance is what is necessary. All right, so here I'm gonna throw you another one because I'm sure anyone who was listening to the pod last week or the Saints review or whatever was heard you talking about Josh Norman. So I'm interested to see what you say about this one. So Josh Norman needs to blank to turn his season around.
Josh Norman needs to revert to his old ways to turn his season around. When Josh Norman came here, he was a cerebral assassin, and since he's gotten here, he's only been Hollywood. I need the cerebral assassin back.
So you need him 100% focused on football. You don't need none of this dancing with the stars, all these extra commercials going on the Vox pregame show on the bye week. You don't need none of that. You need him locked in on whoever he's playing this week.
I mean, that's what I would like. To be honest, I'm cool with guys, making a life for themselves outside of football and building up their profile outside of football. I'm completely fine with that. But when it gets in the way is when your play is hurting. Like, for example, let's say Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes was on Dancing with the Stars, nobody would care. This dude is the best quarterback in the league right now. You know what I mean? But when you're not living up to your pay grade, then we start to look at other things. And that's the situation we find Josh in right now.
I agree with that one, man. I was looking it up, and I believe Josh Norman's contract is literally like $15 million more than Quentin Dunbar. And if you just look at how they're playing, that's absurd. That is absurd. So I think Josh Norman is getting a little bit of a bad rap. I think he's playing pretty well. He could obviously be playing better. That's more than obvious. But I think once you add his paycheck to what he's given us on the field, that's when it becomes the issue. He's playing like a pretty good corner, but he's getting paid like he's the best, and he's not the best. All right, so I'm going to throw you the last question real quick. The biggest threat on the Carolina Panthers offense is?
For the Redskins, it will be Christian McCaffrey, and that's based off the fact that this guy is a Swiss Army knife. And when players get outside the Redskins' interior, outside runs really hurt the Redskins. And I would have to go with Christian McCaffrey as what I would consider the X factor for this game.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one, man. He's a lot like Alvin Kamara, a lot like Chris Thompson. So it's going to come down to the Redskins linebackers and safeties, really, to cover him. And they've been handing him the ball a lot, too. So, I mean, you never know now what they're going to do with him because they could line up in a power formation and still running up the gut with him. So, yeah, he's definitely a Swiss Army knife. And I would agree with that one. A lot of people might think it's Cam because he's going to have the ball in his hand and he's Superman and he's been flawless against the Redskins. But I would agree with you on that one, man. Christian McCaffrey is going to be a hell of a problem.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we got the guns to stop them. I think we do. I think with our interior and our guys on the outside. Because one thing the guys, I will say, I've been reviewing film this week, and after watching the film back, the guys on our outside have been setting hard edges. And I think that might be something that was emphasized more or just as much as pass rushing for our outside linebackers. So we can continue to set hard edges. I think we could at least calm down the effect of Christian McCaffrey. No, I don't think we're going to stop him. I do expect a big game from McCaffrey, but I think we can at least contain him a little bit.
I would agree with you there, man. All right, so you wanna throw it around the league real quick?
Yeah, man. Tons of big storylines heading into this weekend. So let me give you the first one, Rome. AFC supremacy, man. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the New England Patriots, and I think this is the week we find out who the top dog in the AFC is. If you remember last season, I think it was week 1 when the Chiefs laid the smackdown to the Patriots, and everybody thought, maybe this Chiefs team is real. But come week 12, week 13, we all would favor the Patriots in that same matchup. So, Ron, what do you think about that? Who do you think is the supreme team of the AFC?
All right, this is where people are going to start thinking I'm a little bit of a Redskin homer and I'm just rooting for my guy Alex Smith. But hear me out. Last season, this exact time, what was the Chiefs' record? 5-0.
Yep.
5-0. The exact same record that they got right now. Granted, Alex Smith did not look like Patrick Mahomes, but if you remember, who are they talking about in the MVP race? He wasn't looking this good. Patrick Mahomes is looking next level right now. But Alex Smith was in the MVP race when the Chiefs were undefeated last year at this exact time. So I don't think this is as much of a product of Pat Mahomes as people are saying. I think it's a little bit more a product of Andy Reid. And I think Andy Reid has always started strong and has always had a problem finishing. That said, the team that has the complete opposite issue of that is the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. The Patriots tend to start slow and finish strong, and this is the part of the season where that switches. The Patriots will win. I will guarantee that. That will be my Gas Sports guarantee of the week. The Patriots will win against the Chiefs this week. Patrick Mahomes will look like a rookie quarterback in Foxborough against Bill Belichick. And the Patriots are the best team in the AFC still.
Yeah, man. I wish I could play devil's advocate, but I agree 100%. One thing I'll point out with the Pats is, man, that two-headed attack at running back they've got going right now with the rookie Sony Michel out of Georgia and James White, the receiving threat out the backfield, it's tough, man. I really like what they're doing. The league is changing. Running backs out the backfield can be considered a whole new position now. And the Patriots are always ahead of the curve on league changes, and they've proven that again with this two-headed monster in the backfield. I can't see them losing, man. Belichick has always had Andy Reid's number, and like you said, Andy Reid's been a fast starter and a slow finisher. So I think I'm right with you on that one.
Definitely. Now, I think we might disagree on this one because I might surprise you on this one, but we got some good matchups in the NFC going on this week, and I know the Rams play the Broncos. Who do you think the best team is in the NFC, though? A lot of people are saying the Rams. I want to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I would personally have to agree with those people. From what I've seen from the Rams thus far, it would be very hard for me to put any other team in the NFC East ahead of them, and that's mostly because they've got all aspects of the game covered. They've got the quarterback, and Jared Goff's been playing lights out. He's got the second best rating in the league right now, according to Pro Football Focus, around 92 quarterback rating a game, and that's right behind Drew Brees, who just rose his quarterback by completely killing the Redskins. But that's a whole other story. You can check out the last podcast if you want some more on that. But yeah, I would say the Rams. They've got all the aspects of the game covered. They've got the running game with Todd Gurley. The defense is something serious over there, and especially in the middle with Aaron Donald and Dominican Stu. Man, it's very hard for me not to give it to the Rams. But I'm very, very interested in seeing what you got for me.
Yeah, man, I'm actually going to go with the New Orleans Saints, man. I was very impressed with them on Monday night. I know, like you said, you guys can listen to the last pod. I know the Redskins didn't play that well. But Drew Brees, man, he's only got a couple seasons left, and I think he knows that. And I think he's going for broke. I think Sean Payton's going for broke. I think they both know they have something great. And I really think, man, this could be their year. If you remember – last year, wasn't it that crazy play by Stephon Diggs that eliminated them and stuff, man? They were right there last year, and I really think they could make it back. The same way you were talking about the Patriots having a two-headed monster, the Saints also have that two-headed monster, and Ingram is very fresh. He brings a whole nother dynamic to it. They even put Kamara back there at punt return a couple times. So, I mean, the Saints are just loaded with weapons, and that defense will get it together. I don't think they're as impressive as the Rams' defense. But my only knock on the Rams is still just McVay's second year. They are a very young team. And playing out there in L.A., once you have to come across the country and play in a little bit colder weather, that could affect some things. But, I mean, I definitely think it's between the Saints and the Rams in the NFC right now for sure.
Yeah, no, man, you make a great point with the playoffs last year when the Vikings took on the Saints. And the Saints were so close. I almost forgot how close they were to advancing in that game. Literally the missed tackle of a rookie away from advancing. So you make a good point, and they look very similar to that team from last season. So I do see how you rationalize that, and with the way you put it, it makes it a lot closer for me who the best team in the NFC is. I'll still roll with the Rams, but I definitely feel you with that. I definitely feel you.
All right, so let's go ahead and close this thing out, man. Let's give these people our key matchups and our key victories before we drop them with our final predictions for this game.
Let's do it. So my first key matchup, I'm gonna go with the head coaching matchup. We've got Jay Gruden versus Ron Rivera. You've got an offensive guru versus a defensive savant. And when these type of coaching battles, to me, are always the ones that really show who maybe the better head coach is, but at least who's mastered their side of the ball more. when you've got an offensive head coach going up against a defensive head coach, we're going to really see whose team responds better to their head coach this week.
Agree with that, man. My key matchup, I'm going to roll with the Redskins offensive line against the Panthers front seven. They got Thomas Davis coming back. They got the best linebacker in the league in Luke Kuechly. It's sounding like Sean Laval isn't going to play. And the Redskins offensive line has been just like the team, up and down. One week they look great. The next week they look terrible. And they're what's going to make this offense go. They got to open up holes for AP. And like you said, Alex Smith doesn't look like the same quarterback without the run game. So I'm looking at our offensive line versus their front seven. It's going to be a tough battle. Bergstrom's probably going to be back there at center. He struggled a little bit in that Saints game. So hopefully, if he can hold it down, I still like how Roulier looks at guard. But that's going to be my key matchup is the front seven versus our O-line.
Yeah, that's a good matchup there, man. I'm definitely interested to see how Roulier performs and Bergstrom at center with guys like Kuechly coming right in his face on blitzes is definitely not going to be easy. So that I do like that one, man. So let's keep it moving. Do you have a score prediction? No, let's stick with keys to victory. Let's stick with keys to victory first before we get to our predictions. Keys to victory, Rome. Give me 3 of them.
All right, 3 keys to victory. My first one's going to be on the offensive side, and it's going to be obvious. Everyone's going to agree with this one. Get Jordan Reed the ball. There's no excuses. I don't care what kind of coverages they're in, who they're putting on them. Get Jordan Reed the ball. Alex Smith performs better with a run game and when he has a stud tight end to throw it to, and we can have both those things. So get Jordan Reed the ball is my number 1 key to victory. My number 2 key to victory is run the time off the clock. Don't take the chances with Cam. Cam is a special quarterback. Even if this is a dogfight, even if this is a close game, Cam Newton's not the kind of guy you want to have the ball in his hand with the last 2 minutes going. So keep Cam Newton off the field, keep AP, keep feeding AP, keep running it. And my 3rd key to victory is contain Christian McCaffrey. Like we were saying earlier, he's probably going to be the biggest threat offensively to the Redskins. So if we can contain McCaffrey, that'll go a long way in getting this dub.
Yeah, I definitely agree with those. I got 3 more for us. My very first key to victory will be understand the read option. They're gonna be hitting us with the option. Cam's gonna fake the handoff to McCaffrey, then he's gonna keep it, reading that in. In past years, Cam has killed us with this. Literally killed us. I need our team studying that play, understand your keys on that play, understand how to read it, and let's make sure we don't get killed with the high school offense this Sunday. My number 2 key to victory is defensive back communication. Last week we had so many breakdowns in the defensive secondary. If that happens again this week, especially with a quarterback with a live arm like Cam Newton, he'll find the deep pass. He'll find punches for a deep ball, and the Redskins will get beat in a way that they're not supposed to get beat by the Carolina Panthers. And that's the last thing you want to see. The last thing you want to see is Cam Newton out there chucking the ball around like he's Drew Brees. That's the last thing I want to see. And my final key to victory is I need my defensive line and my outside linebackers to show up in the pass rush. When Cam, don't get me wrong, Cam is a tank, and it's hard to knock him off his game. But one thing I've always noticed about his game is when you start hitting Cam, when you really start hitting Cam Newton tries to hit you back. And once he's starting trying to hit you back, then he's getting out of his game, right? He's not getting out of bounds on those plays. He's taking extra contact. He's doing things that will wear him down for the rest of the game. So if my defensive line and my outside linebackers can show up and get bodies on Cam Newton and hit him a little bit, I really do like our chances.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that, man. We definitely got to fix those defensive communications in the secondary. Cam Newton is, I believe, 0 for 9 on passes over like 30 or so yards. He's been pretty bad with the deep ball. He's been good otherwise. His completion percentage is up, but he's been bad with the deep ball. So this is a game where I definitely don't want to see anyone getting beat deep. I mean, we've talked a lot about Josh Norman and a lot about the secondary and all that. So, yeah, I would agree with that one. You got any
Okay.
bold predictions, or you wanna jump into these score predictions?
I got some bold predictions, and you actually just brought one up without even knowing it. Josh Norman. My bold prediction is that Josh Norman forces a turnover. He might get the pick. He may even punch a ball out for a fumble. But against his old team, my bold prediction is that Josh Norman forces a turnover this coming Sunday.
Nice. I'm gonna get a real bold one here. My bold prediction is gonna be Alex Smith has a rushing touchdown and Cam Newton does not. Keep Cam Newton out the end zone. Make Cam Newton throw the ball like you were talking about on those read options, man. They gotta light Cam Newton up, get him off his game, keep him out the end zone. And I can see Jay Gruden getting a little sneaky in there and throwing a couple RPOs in there for Alex. And I like to see Alex run one in because that gives another dimension to the offense that we need.
Absolutely. So with that, let's jump into some scoring predictions. Rome, how do you see this game ending? What do you think the score is going to be?
All right, now I know we sounded pretty positive on the Redskins, as we tend to do here at Hail to the Culture. I mean, we love our Skins, but I'm going to have to keep it real on the score prediction, man. My final score prediction, I'm thinking it's going to be Carolina. I'm going to go Carolina 28, Washington 24. I'm believing in this Cam Newton, man. Cam's going to have some late game magic. That's how I'm feeling this game's going to go. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping it's Cam with the ball at the end of the game and the defense steps up and makes a play. That's what I would like to see. But in my heart of hearts, I believe Cam is going to come out, pull something out the hat at the end of the game. So I'm going to go 28-24 Panthers. What you got?
Okay. I see this game going a little bit differently. I'm just going to go with the Redskins' history. In Jay Gruden's tenure, they've always bounced back from tough losses, and they usually come out on top for a win. And I don't see that changing, even though it's against the Panthers. I don't see that changing. I think the Redskins get out to a very strong start, and the Panthers come back. But I think the lead that the Redskins will build up early at FedEx Field will be enough to hold off the Panthers. And I see this game ending, I'm going to go with 27-23 in favor of the Redskins.
Well, let's hope you're right.
Definitely. So there's been another episode of Hail to the Culture. We appreciate everybody for listening. Again, it's Bryce and Rome. You can find me on Twitter at Bryce, BRYCE, XXZII. You can find my boy Rome at Young Rome. That's YUNGROME 22. Definitely give us a follow, and if you haven't checked out the site yet, shoot on over to goodassports.com. We've got tons of content for you guys, fresh content coming every single day from all the teams across the NFL. Please join the culture. Please join the movement. We are Sports for the Culture. We are Hail to the Culture.
Free world.
Signing out.
My hitters be moving and shaking and stay at the streets. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. My hitters be moving and shaking and stay at the streets. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so